Hey everyone, welcome back. So I want to show you what a real protest looks like. And I don't mean the quarterly No Kings protest that we keep seeing from our neighbors to the south, where everyone gets angry for an afternoon and then they go home and kind of waits for the next one like in the next quarter. I think what upsets the global population is that it's only 2% or just over 2% of the US population that decided to actually participate. Now, for anyone that actually did participate in the No Kings protest, I commend you. It's your fellow US citizens that are too apathetic to do anything about it. That's who we're actually pissed off at. But the protest I actually want to talk about is in Albania, and they've been protesting for over 30 days. And the reasons are not because of tax breaks or wages or, they were told to come out for one afternoon. They're standing up for their country because of the Taco Tuesday linked resort, which is actually Taco Tuesday's daughter and her husband trying to buy a whole bunch of public land, which is actually protected for the flamingos. And today's video is not actually about Ivanka and what's her husband's name? Jared. It's about the Albanians and their persistence to make sure that this story doesn't disappear. The key word is persistence. The refusal to let powerful people treat their country like a business opportunity. Whereas if we look to our next door neighbor, a country where people are watching their government destroy the trust around the world, and the average everyday US citizen just doesn't care, or they're in their bubble, or they say they don't care about politics. The global eyes are on the United States and how they're reacting to this right now, and it's not a good look. Albania is awake, and the United States, they should be embarrassed. Now, if you're not aware of what's going on in Albania, I'm going to play a clip right now that kind of gives a summary of how the Taco Tuesday family pissed off an entire nation.
So that's it. That's the island.
It's an unbelievable, beautiful 1,400-hectare private island in the middle of the Mediterranean. We were on a friend's boat and we stopped for a swim. Effectively, that's how we found it. We went on a hike, barefoot all the way, and we were just captivated.
Oh, give me a break with the goddamn fairy tale story. Nobody gives a shit if you're swimming by it and you found it. But this beach that this hag fell in love with, it's a protected wetland. And it's known for the flamingos, the migratory birds, seals, and sea turtles. I mean, imagine if this hag decided to come to British Columbia and say, hey, I like the Fraser River, or Boundary Bay, or Burns Bog. I love it, and I'm going to put a resort there. That's exactly what she did to Albania.
This is the island of Sazan, off the coast of Albania. President Trump's daughter, Ivanka, and her husband, Jared Kushner, are trying to build a luxury resort here and on a nearby peninsula in a protected nature area. The project, with Albania's government and other investors, is worth an estimated $4 billion. But the island and peninsula aren't private. They were public nature reserves. And the plan has helped spark this: huge protests in Albania, some of the biggest since the fall of communism here.
If you could speak to Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner, what would you say?
Hands off. Albania is not for sale.
Not for sale. That's something we're hearing a lot these days. First it was Taco Tuesday wanting to annex Canada and Greenland, and now on a private sector level that still has ties to Taco Tuesday, they are now saying Albania is not for sale. And yet we see comments from social media from the everyday US citizen asking, why is the world upset at us? Everyone should be looking up to us instead of looking down. I don't get it. And for the record, I'm not talking about any US citizen that supports my channel. I mean, I feel like I need to do this disclaimer every so often. Because I'm not generalizing, but there is a problem within their population. I can differentiate between someone who loves their country and someone who doesn't give a shit and is just apathetic about things. And they do exist. I mean, if you follow my channel, you know that in the past, I always used to talk about one of my friends in the United States who's completely apathetic about everything, a Democratic voter, and just doesn't care. I'm actually the one updating him about what his country is doing around the world. I was the one that had to tell him about Venezuela. I was the one that had to tell him about Iran. And his response? Oh, okay. Well, I guess someone will sort it out. So when are you coming down again? So yeah, I have first-hand experience with this. And my friend, he's just one of the 340 million in the US right now.
The protesters have dubbed it the Flamingo Revolution, after the flamingos living in the protected area where the resort will be built. But it's become about far more.
This protest began because of anger over this resort linked to Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump, but it's grown into something much bigger because people here see it as symbolic of broader corruption in Albania's government.
This luxury development just showed the true colors of our government. We knew what was happening behind doors, but this showed us really what was going on in front of our faces. So it was really the cherry on top of corruption for 35 years.
Now, when this protester was talking about the corruption with their government, you can see their citizens are pissed off. I mean, 30 plus days of straight protests and with no end in sight. It's clear the Albanians are fed up and they want change. So my question is the United States and their citizens ever going to get to this point? Because obviously the corruption is there, and we're past that point looking for warning signs. I mean, the red light's going off everywhere. We're past that point where it's like, okay, maybe we got to think about this or investigate, or maybe it's not true. Well, it's definitely true. I mean, call a spade, which is why I commend the efforts from the Albanians. They are showing the world what a real protest is and what it means to actually stand up to their own government. I mean, seriously, 30 plus days straight. I'm sure there's people that are missing work. I'm sure there's people that are missing events, and there's probably a financial cost that they're risking right now. But they're getting out of their comfort zone. They're getting out of their safety net to make a point. And I know I have some viewers from Albania. Not a lot, but I do have some. But to my Albanian viewers, all I have to say is, well done for showing the world what a real protest looks like.
For a month, protesters have been calling for Prime Minister Edi Rama to resign, angry at what they see as decades of corruption and exploitative rule by Albania's wealthy elite. Rama has rejected the accusations and so far has been defiant. This week saw clashes between police and protesters.
The Prime Minister has obviously said that this project will bring billions to Albania, that it's good for the Albanian people. I mean, clearly you don't agree with that.
At what cost, firstly? Secondly, to whom Albanians? To oligarchs?
Sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Taco Tuesday has said the exact same thing to all US citizens. It'll bring billions to the United States and it'll create jobs, jobs, jobs. America first. But who's really first in all of this? The billionaires. I mean, nobody's going to fall for this stuff. I mean, I'm sure people in the United States, they're not dumb. They know. Well, except maybe MAGA. I mean, they probably can't even tie their shoes. But the difference is that the Albanians, they're doing something about it. And they're not going to let it be swept under the rug.
There are also growing questions about how some of the land on the peninsula for the resort was obtained. A group of villagers say it was stolen from them by a US-based Albanian businessman. He's reportedly under investigation for ties to organised crime. A company representing Ivanka Trump, Kushner and other investors said it was not part of any anti-corruption investigation and that it believes the land was lawfully obtained. It says the project aims to celebrate Albania's natural beauty and to create jobs. Its future will ultimately be determined by the Albanian people.
Do you hope that Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump will do something to pull out of this project? Will say, we don't want to be part of this anymore?
I'm sure that they will do it. It's the bare minimum now in this situation.
Now, she has more faith in the Taco Tuesday family than I do. Personally, I don't think they're going to stop. But then again, Albania is putting the pressure on the Taco Tuesday family like no one else has done before. Ew, I can't believe I said that. I mean, that phrase is just cringy for me to even say. But if it's anybody putting up a fight against the United States right now and the corrupt family, it's Albania. But these protests are not just about the land that Ivanka and Jared are trying to buy. It's evolved. And that evolution is now putting pressure on their government. I mean, boy, I would love to have that in the United States. But let's take a look at this clip.
But the outcry from protesters centers on the environmental impact and concerns over the animals that inhabit the Adriatic coast.
We want transparency, we want to protect our nature.
As the demonstrations have grown, so has their message. Protesters now calling for the Prime Minister to step down.
That was just a spark that ignited the fire that started this massive protest.
We are here to protect Albania from the most corrupted government in Europe. Not only in Europe, but all over the world.
Well, I think I can name a few more countries that have more corrupt governments, and unfortunately, I'm neighbors with one of them. But I'm not discounting their efforts. I mean, to be honest, their efforts are commendable.
The Prime Minister, a former professional basketball player, writing on social media, the beautiful protest of citizenship, patriotism, and cleanliness has now given way to the old film of conflict, quarrel, violence. The government argues the development could transform the former communist nation as it continues its decade-long push to gain EU membership. But a member of the EU Parliament says Albania is, quote, playing with fire by pursuing this real estate deal and could throw its EU application in jeopardy. For now, the Prime Minister remains defiant. NBC News reached out to Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump for comment on the demonstrations and didn't immediately hear back. This week, police putting up metal fences to secure the parliament and the Capitol. Protesters, though, vow they will continue filling the streets until their demands are met.
Now that is how you do a protest. I mean, obviously it'd be better if there is no violence. But the dedication and persistent drive of the citizens, I mean, it has to be commended. Now, before I move on to talking about our next door neighbor, I want to show a clip from the leader of Albania and the gaslighting that he's actually doing, because it sounds oddly familiar.
Is the privatization of public space something that you are, is that a price that you are prepared to pay for this transformation?
This is another lie that is being told intensively and has become a fact that you are now using to make a question. Because there is no privatization of public space.
But isn't the land that the Taco Tuesday family is trying to buy, isn't that public space and supposed to be like protected wetland? And wasn't that land bought illegally and now trying to be sold? Now, I'm not going to pretend I know a whole bunch about this, but I'm just going off the reports that I'm showing right now. But what I am doing is I'm showing the similarities and the corruptions between the two governments, but also the stark differences when it comes to their citizens.
Simple. There is not. It's a lie.
You can guarantee that everybody will have access?
It's not that I can guarantee. Is that we live in a civilization that since the Romans have made a very simple decision. Who makes accusation has to come with a proof. Now you are a journalist, right? And you are here to inform your audience. And your question is based on a lie. And you ask me guarantee, while you have to show me where is the privatization and where is any hint you have found that makes you worried that will be privatization of public land.
All right, that's enough of this guy. I just wanted to show everybody what Albania is dealing with right now. The gaslighting, the deflection, the taking no responsibility. It all seems very, very familiar. And after hearing this interview, I mean, I don't know much about the politics in Albania, but just by first impression, I can understand why the Albanians are protesting against their own government. Now, if you put the corrupt government side by side, I think it's pretty obvious. And obviously, you know, there is a link because the Taco Tuesday family, they want to buy the land in Albania. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out who's going to benefit from this and who's not. I definitely know who's not. It's the everyday citizens of both countries. And that is why Albania is protesting. For the last 30 days. They're tired of the government and they want to make a change. And they're not going to stop until something happens. Now, the United States, they've had their No Kings protests and, you know, held on a Saturday. And what are they up to now? Like 3? And again, I'm not belittling anybody that did attend a No Kings protest. In fact, more of your fellow citizens need to be like you. I'm trying to prevent my inbox from getting a lot of angry messages from US citizens saying, hey, I attended the protest and I'm giving it my all. I know you are. But what about your next door neighbor? What about your accountant? What about your grocery store clerk? Are they giving their all? Because that is where the problem is. A quarterly protest is not going to make a change in the United States. I mean, just imagine if the United States and their citizens did a 30-day straight protest. The media would have no choice but to cover it. And to be honest, if I saw the protests in Albania happening in the United States and citizens really wanting change, I might actually have a little bit more respect for the United States. But instead, what we're getting right now is a quarterly barbecue on a Saturday. I stole that from one of my viewers. And little to no interest from the vast majority of their citizens to make a change. Instead, we're getting news headlines like this.
It's a love story. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce officially tie the knot tonight at Madison Square Garden in New York City. This is a live look at the Empire State Building right now, the city offering the couple something blue. Brian Schrader is in the WRAL Live Center with details about the ceremony. And Brian, this has been one of the biggest stories, if not the biggest story of the day.
Yep. Taylor Swift's wedding is the biggest story of the day in the United States. It's not the corrupt government, it's not the war in the Middle East, it's not the fact that Taco Tuesday has made billions off their own taxpayers. It's Taylor Swift's wedding. That's the big story. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, certainly today on July 3rd, it's the biggest story in the country. And I'm going to show you a live picture now that's not quite as exciting as the Empire State Building. This is outside of Madison Square Garden where the party continues.
All right, that's enough. I don't care about her wedding. I'm just trying to prove a point here. Because this is what the US media is spouting out right now. And for all those Swifties out there in the United States, this is probably their priority over what's happening with their government. The bombing of Venezuela, what's going on in the Middle East, all the corruption that's going on. But Swifty's wedding, the biggest story of the year. If you're a US citizen watching my video right now, I'm not shitting on your country. In fact, it actually saddens me. Because it's like watching our friend go down the road of like alcohol and drugs and refusing to go into rehab. But there is a lesson to be learned by what Albania is doing right now. If you want change, you gotta be consistent. And unfortunately, I don't think the United States will learn that lesson. To close off this video, I would like to thank Thomas Cooper for posting this photo on the Guard the Leaf Hey Cafe page. And unfortunately, I don't know where this is in Canada, but I thought it would be a unique photo to have as a background. So thanks very much, Thomas, for sharing this with the community. Alright everyone, that's it for this video. If you found any value in anything I said today, or you want to hear more from a Canadian and international point of view, without the US media bias, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button below. That way you'll be notified of my future videos. And don't forget to hit the bell icon and select all as well. Now, if you want to see more of my videos, check out the ones that are going to show up on your screen shortly. Thanks everyone, I'll catch you in the next one.